Hi everyone, it's Calban. It's the 6th of August 2011. So I've not done a video for so long. It's been completely mental. I've just not had a chance to do any. Been to Japan, went back in April just after the earthquake. Been to Maximum Hormone, I went to Hyper Japan London. Loads of other stuff just took time, I couldn't do things. However, I decided to sit down today. I'm going to do a video, you can see what new things I've got hold of since we last spoke. First I'm going to go through obviously games that I picked up before I went to Japan. The first one is Ben 10 Alien Force Field X Attacks. Picked this up for two reasons. One, my nephew's a big Ben 10 fans, then when they come around I can just stick in front of theirs and they'll play it. And the other reason is because it's got supposed to be quite an easy achievement score. I've not had a chance to sit down and go through it, but supposedly they're quite easy to obtain, and I'm starting to get to the point now that I'm just trying to pick up achievement scores when they're quite easy to get them. Don't know why, just every now and again I get an achievement horse kick. Other ones I picked up, Ghost Trick on the DS. Picked this up for the other half so she could play it while we were on the flight to Japan. I've not really had a chance to go. I've played the demo that was on the Wii. You could download to your DS and it was quite fun. Not played the full game because I'm not allowed near it, even though I brought it. I also picked up this is third birthday, which is the third game in the Parasite Eve series. This is the Twisted Edition, which comes with an art book and postcards, as well as half price Final Fantasy and also a Parasite Eve character skin for Lightning in Final Fantasy Dissidia 2. Because we're flying to Japan and you will normally have no way of charging any electrical device while you're in the air or on travel, I decided to pick one of these up. This is a external battery pack for USB, and as most devices now use USB to charge them or within the USB power range, I picked this up. It's a 5000 milliamp battery with a 1 amp and 500 milliamp sockets, so you can charge up to things like an iPad on it, which is great. Has an on-off button. It comes with a collection of various adapters for a cable. You plug your little adapter in on this cable and then you can then plug that into your device. There's ones here for things like an iPod and various other things, Sony style phones, different USB adapters, things like that. It works really well. We used it when we were out in Japan. It was great. It was, for things like my phone was running flat and I was listening to music on it, I could bang on here and give it a charge. We even used USB charging cables for the 3DS's and my Game Boy Advance, which I took with me, just so we could keep those charged if they were running flat when we were in travel. It did the job very well for doing that. Those of you who saw my last video would have seen me unboxing my 3DS. There was actually a second 3DS in my house that day, but I couldn't show it to anyone because I would have been told off if I'd shown it. And that was this one. This is my other half's 3DS. You got the blue one. As you know, the 3DS is region locked. It's region locked on DSi Enhanced, DSi and 3DS games. They're all region locked within the device. Now, to get round that, we were kind of hoping that someone's going to come out with a region free option, very similar to Gecko OS on the Wii through Homebrew. So far, no one's done that. So while we were out in Japan, the other half decided to buy a second 3DS, and she bought a Japanese one. And obviously this is it. Same colour as her original one, so she's got a phone charm on there to identify it, so she doesn't get mixed up. It's exactly the same. It's just got Japanese language and is regionalised for Japan. Obviously, with her buying a Japanese 3DS, she might as well have brought a game that was for the 3DS while she was out there. So she picked up this one, Cubic Ninja. I've not played it yet, so I can't say how good it is. I know the European version is coming out quite soon, so I may actually either get go on this or I may even pick up the European one at some point. I also picked up this one, which is Taiko Drum Big Yokai Attack. It's the third in the Taiko Drum series on the DS. I've got the other two. It's very much more of the same. This time though, it seems to be more emphasised on the yokai or the Japanese monsters. Still very fun, but it's just the other half picked up Claymore because she's a Claymore fan, and obviously the game is now on the DS. And she also picked up this one. This is Ni no Kuni, which is the level 5 game that was animated by Ghibli. The game itself actually comes with a big book which tells you spells and things like that for in the game. Again, I've not really had a chance to play it because the other half I might get around to play at some point, but that's only if I can get it away from her. Might have to sneak it away from her at some point. Picked up some PSP stuff like this. We've got Gachitora, which is I don't know how to explain it. It's basically GTO as a video game, mini games and fighting students. GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka, if you don't know, is a Japanese manga and anime about an ex-biker who becomes a teacher. I've not really played this. Again, it's the other half picked up, she's played it, and again at some point I will steal off her and play it. She won't go around to doing it. However, I did pick up this, which is Classic Dungeon X2. This is the sequel to 8-Bit Hero, as it's known in Europe. Unfortunately, in this version you can't create your own character, you've actually just pick a character from a set. It's still quite fun, you know, it's still nice, the dungeon crawler. Not really played too much of it. Unfortunately, again, just not really had much time. Other game I picked up is BlazBlue Continuum Shift 2. I could have picked it up on the 3DS if I waited for either European release or if I'd got a Japanese 3DS, but I thought I'd get it on the PSP. However, I probably will find I'll pick it up on the 3DS when it comes out over here. I'm a bit of a BlazBlue fan and just general fighter fan, so I've got that. I also picked up this, which is Ikitousen Cross Impact. This is the second Ikitousen game on the PSP. More of the similar sideways scrolling beat 'em up with a story to it. Still very fun. This was actually in the best collection, which is basically the Platinum collection or whatever, or Gold collection for the PSP in Japan. PS3 games I picked up in Japan was No More Heroes Paradise, which is the PS3 update to the original game that came out on the Wii a couple of years back. I also picked up Yakuza 4. This is again, this is one of the best collections. That's the Platinum or Premium collection version of the game, because it's already been out long enough and made enough copies sold of it. Didn't get a chance to pick up The End, which is the last game in the Yakuza series, because it was actually delayed when we were out in Japan. It was supposed to have come out, but it was delayed due to the earthquake, so it's only just recently come out in Japan and I've not had a chance to order it in yet. Another game, this one that the other half picked up. We both were fighting who was to pick it up, but she decided to pick up because that way I can't not let her use it, or use the PS3 supposedly. Catherine, it's just come out in America. It's just got a distributor for the UK as well, in Europe. Brilliant games, great puzzler. It's really enjoyable. It's weird because a lot of people don't like puzzlers with stories. That's the sort of thing a lot of people turn away from. But this is getting really good reviews all over the place. What I've played with it so far, I really enjoy it. The other half really enjoys it as well. It's good, and it's nice to see that it's getting a European release, even though there was question whether it was or not. And the last game I picked up with the PS3 is this, Arcana 3. It's a 2D beat 'em up, in the same vein as BlazBlue, actually done by the people who did BlazBlue. The first two games came out on the PS2 and never been released outside of Japan. This one is being released outside of Japan. It's coming to Europe and America soon. It's a good game. I like it. That's all I'm going to say. Those of you who've seen all my game collection videos see that I do tend to buy quite a few Japanese games, import games from consoles, and obviously there's one console in my collection of systems of current that we all know you can't really get foreign games for, and that's the Xbox 360. However, there is a list of games. The Xbox 360 has a bit of a hidden region-free system where any games that come out close to the release date in other regions tend to be region-free. However, a lot of the Japanese shooters are not coming out in Europe or America and are being region locked. However, there is a small collection of them that are coming out, they're region free, and I decided while I was out in Japan I was going to get all the ones I could that were listed as region free. The first one though is this. This is Mushihime Bug Princess. This is what they call it Bug Princess, is version 1.5. This is, as I say, region free on Xbox 360. In fact, you can actually download the Black Label DLC for this game from the marketplace. Definitely in Europe. I don't know about America. I should do because obviously it's region free. These are all shmups, most of them from Cave, but as I said, they are all region free and all, if you're a shmup fan, really good. The next one, this one is Espagala Black Label. It only just came out when we were in Japan. This one actually comes with the audio CD as well as the game. Again, it's a shmup. It's cave shooter. It's region free, so if you like your cave shooters, these are all games you can import and they will play on your Xbox, you know, no matter which Xbox you've got. The other one I've got was this. This is Mushy Mushy Pork and Sweet Pea. This is the collector's edition of the game. It comes with the soundtrack and some other bits and pieces. This is actually 2 games in one, 2 cave games on one disc. It's again shmup, region free. If you like them, go get them. And the last one, again, another game that again only just got released while we were out there. And this is Bullet Assault. Again, this game also comes with the audio CD. It's kind of a trend, really. This one isn't a cave game, but it is region free and it does work on my Xbox. I've tried all these games on my Xbox 360 and I can guarantee they work on a European Xbox 360, but they should work on any of them. Another thing I tend to do when I hit Japan is look at some of the retro stuff. There's a lot of really good retro shops with good condition stuff to buy. Places like Super Potato have massive collections of games, and a lot of them actually really great priced. So kind of did go on a bit of a speed picking up some retro stuff. The other half is a big Sakura Wars fan, and she had the first Sakura Wars game on the Game Boy Color, but she didn't get the second one. This is the second one here, so I found this for her. I actually found it in the special edition box, which comes with a case, which I will find is here. It's a case for holding your Game Boy Color, but actually it holds the 3DS quite well. She puts a Japanese 3DS in here, and managed to find that luckily at one of the shops in Akihabara. It was really cheap. I think it's about £3 or £4 a page for it. Brilliant condition. It obviously comes with everything, game box and everything, all there, all working fine. One of the other things I picked up was this. This is Wonder Project J2. It's an N64 game. I actually picked this up because not long ago I picked up the N64 Passport, which allows me to play other region games on my N64, but I've not had a game to use it on. And I went looking for as cheap as I could complete Japanese game, and I found this in a second-hand game shop on Nakano Broadway. It's in brilliant condition. I don't even think it's actually been used, to be honest. I haven't played it yet, but I will play it soon. And it actually comes with the memory card as well as the game cartridge. As I say, it's all boxed and nice. I don't really want to open it, that's the weird thing. All in there, all boxed, all nice. If you've gone through my previous videos, you would have seen that I've got a Virtual Boy, and I've got some games for it, but not a massive amount. Well, when we went to Japan, we went with some friends, one of which is a big Virtual Boy fan as well. It's his favourite console of all time. So I took him to Super Potato and Mandrake and Gamers in Akihabara, where they have second-hand game sections, or is a second-hand game store, looking for their any Virtual Boy games they got. And I kind of managed to more than double my Virtual Boy collection just in one trip. I picked up Vertical Force, which is a shooter, Golf, which obviously is a golf game, Jack Brothers, which is a puzzle dungeon crawler type game. It's actually quite rare. Yeah, not a lot of people get this. It's quite expensive to get hold of, I suppose, but I actually found this for about £5, I think it was, at a second-hand shop, which was a really good deal. I've also got Red Alert. This is a 3D shooter. A lot of people complain that there's not really any textures to it. It's all very wire mesh, and it is, but kind of like Star Fox when it was on the SNES, really. Galactic Pinball, which title says it's all. I've also got the Mario Clash, which is the original Mario Brothers game done for the Virtual Boy, so it kind of operates on a third dimension with 2 or 3 different levels to it. And the Virtual Boy Warrior Land game, which is basically a Warrior Land game with, again, a second level set to it, so you can jump behind and forwards. It's got a 3D perspective to it, which are all good. However, the best catch of the trip for the Virtual Boy was this. This is Space Squash. This is a rare Virtual Boy game. Goes for a lot of money, and the other half found it. I think it worked out as around about £4 or £5. It's in brilliant condition. They're all in very good condition, box, manuals and everything. But yeah, this was the catch. In fact, my American friend didn't have this, and he was kind of upset that I managed to get hold of this and he didn't. But that's then the breaks. If they only got one copy, one person gets the copy. That's all I can say. The last piece of gaming stuff that I picked up in Japan is this. It's the Game Boy Micro. It's the 20th anniversary Mario Famicom edition. It's Mario's 20th anniversary. You can see on the back there. It's styled like a Famicom controller, the Japanese version of the NES. As I say, in the Micro, it's in perfect condition. It's got all the manuals, all the charger and everything like that. So I thought for £20 it finally in strange. I've kind of only brought this just for the collection, just to have a Game Boy Micro in the collection. However, I've actually started using this a lot, and if I'm not going to play any original Game Boy games, I'm only going to play Game Boy Advance games. This is the system I'm using it on, just because of how small it is and portable, and I actually like it. Sort of that. It does come with a little fabric bag for you to, with a drawstring on it, so you can put your game console in there. But once I got back from Japan, obviously I needed a charger for it, because it came with a Japanese charger. I didn't really want to have to hoik out a step down every time I wanted to charge the Game Boy. So I started looking for first party Game Boy Micro chargers. Nintendo don't do any as spare parts, because the Game Boy Micro was kind of a flop. It didn't really sell because everyone was playing the DS, and the DS and DS Lite was doing what this would do, apart from the multiplayer aspect. So you had all the first, the single player gameplay that most people would have been fine with. However, trying to find a charger for it, as I said, I couldn't really find one that was either in the price range I wanted. In fact, I would have paid more for the charger than I would have done for the console. So I actually found this. It's a Competition Pro, who used to be the big name in accessories. I've not really seen them for a long time, but they're obviously still kicking around. This is a Game Boy SP Micro, DS and DS Lite charger. You get a car charger and a mains charger. As you can see, they're in the bag. That's in the case. I've not taken them out. The reason why I've not taken them out is because obviously these are chargers for the systems and their third-party chargers. And as I said, I didn't look for a third-party charger. But where this won me is that it comes with this. This is a plug-on adapter for a Game Boy SP and DS charger to Game Boy Micro and Game Boy and DS Lite charger. So you can either charge a DS Lite off this or a Game Boy Micro, and using the same charger that you've got for a Game Boy Advance SP or the original DS. So grab this, because I can then use my original Game Boy Advance charger on it and charge up my Japanese Game Boy Micro. Again, as I said, the leads are all different. The Game Boy Micro only has one port on it. It's only one connection port, rather than the Game Boy SP, which has two ports, one for the link lead and one for the charger. So obviously the other things you would need to acquire would be a new link cable. This one here, again, is an official Nintendo Game Boy Micro link cable, and this will link Game Boy Micro to Game Boy Micro, and also has the middle section so you can add more Game Boy Micro leads onto it. And I also picked up the wireless adapter, which goes on the top like so, and that's for things like, obviously there's information inside the booting off that, so you can do things on it like finding local games, but also for things like Pokemon, Leaf Green or Emerald, there is wireless capability with it. The one thing I'm missing at the moment, which I'm actually looking to get hold of, is the adapter that converts from Game Boy Micro socket to original Game Boy Advance plug. There's an adapter you can buy. I haven't found one yet. I'm hoping to get hold of one soon, just so I can then obviously use my Game Boy Micro to connect to the Game Boy Advances. Obviously to connect to the GameCube, they never did release a adapter cable or a converter cable for it, so that's always going to use my Game Boy Advances. There is, however, one last thing I brought in Japan that I want to mention, and that is this. I bought myself a new laptop. This is the Asus eSlate EP121. It's a 12-inch tablet PC, flat screen. It's lovely, I really enjoy it. It's got an i5 processor, it's got 4GB RAM, 64GB SSD drive, 2 USB 2 ports, Bluetooth 3, wireless N. It's got all the features that you could need from a machine. Built-in webcam up there, you've got a 2 megapixel webcam up there. But my favourite trick on it is this. Hidden inside that compartment there is this. This is a Wacom pen. It's a Wacom stylus pen. So not only is it touchscreen, so I can do that and move, I can't really show that. Not only can I do that and move the cursor around, I also can use the pen to move the cursor, but it's actually a Wacom pen, so it actually recognises pressures. It also recognises the eraser on the top if you rotate it using things like Photoshop. For graphics people, I know people might complain that you can't calibrate the colours on this if you're a proper photo person. However, the fact that you've got a Wacom tablet on the go in such a compact system, as I say, it's an i5 processor, 4GB RAM. It's a high-end laptop, realistically, in such a small form factor. Once I returned from Japan, I actually had a couple of games that had been put through my post box because I'd ordered them before I went away. The first one is this one. It's Hyperdimensioner Neptuna, which is a PS3 game distributed by Sega. It's actually an RPG game where you play a system, by a god that is a games console. It's got all games consoles. It's actually quite fun. There's lots of DLC out for it, even on the European market. Then you can obviously, a lot of it's free, some of it's not, but it's actually quite fun to play. The other game I had through the door was the new Mortal Kombat game. This is Mortal Kombat 9, but obviously they've gone back and called it Mortal Kombat. As you know before, I'm a big beat 'em up fan, big shooter fan. So the new Mortal Kombat game was the one I was definitely going to get. This, obviously being the PS3 version, comes with Kratos as a playable character, and they are starting to they have been releasing new characters as they go. And in fact, soon they will come out will be Freddy Krueger to play with as well. So there's just a lot of characters being released for it. I actually like it. It was better than I thought it was going to be. The last couple of Mortal Kombats weren't brilliant, but this is, to me, is a return to form for them. Other games I picked up recently, obviously Infamous 2, that's come out, so I picked that up. I also picked up Shadows of the Dam, a game with a lot of linear. You've got Suda51s behind it. You've also got Mikami and Akira Yamato. So you've got Resident Evil and Silent Hill all behind this. The people who made those behind this. Actually a really funny game, really great game. Not gone too far into it, so a lot of time I don't get too much time to play games. But what I have played, I really enjoyed. It seems very Suda-ish, Suda51-ish. But if you're into his sort of games, it does seem very much like it. I mean, when you've got a companion that's a flaming skull, that's a demon, that turns into a torch, a gun, and a bike, and his name is Johnson. And when he's in gun form, to make him more powerful, you ring a sex line. I mean, come on. How can you not want to buy that game right now? Yeah. Other game picked up is Demon Souls. I kind of left this one alone with launch, but when I went to Hyper Japan, I got a chance to play Dark Souls, which is the spiritual sequel, which is by the same development house and that, but it's not a sequel. It's just another game very similar. And I picked this up recently just because I played Dark Souls and decided to pick this up to get it and give it a go. I really enjoyed it. As you saw in Japan, I went through and increased my Virtual Boy collection by a lot. However, there's still games that I don't have. One of which was 3D Tetris. However, I managed to find a copy cheap on eBay, which I brought that in there. Another game I've recently got is God of War Ghost of Sparta. It's the second God of War game on the PSP. To be honest, it only just turned up the other day and I've not played it yet, so I don't know how it goes. However, it does come with a character skin for God of War 3, so I've got to go through and do that soon. And the last two games I've picked up since we last did the video is this is DOA Dimensions, Derived Dimensions on the 3DS. This is a really good version of DOA, lots of unlockable characters and unlockable costumes. There's also costumes that can be acquired from downloadable over Spot Pass, as well as challenges that you can obtain over Spot Pass as well. They're actually repeating the downloads, so if you do pick the game up, you should still be able to get all the downloadable costumes and challenges. Just keep releasing them. And the last game that I picked up recently is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. It's a really nice update from the original N64 game. It's got lovely graphics, sound is improved. You've also got gyro control for the slingshot looking around and the bow and arrow, so it's all really improved. In fact, I would say if you're going to get a 3D at some point, especially as it's getting a price cut soon, this is one of the first games I recommend you get. Even if you played the N64 version, it's well worth getting because of the enhancements. Talking about the 3DS price cut, it's just me giving my public service to you all. Nintendo have announced they're going to cut roughly a third off the price of the 3DS. The price has been announced in America. It's going from $250 to $170. No price has been put out for Japan or Europe actually officially at this time. Things may change, but at the moment that's where it stands. But what the Nintendo are saying is they're going to have an ambassador program. Is that anyone who takes their 3DS online to the eShop, so you actually got to go into the eShop once before the midnight on the 12th of August, so basically 11:59 on the 11th. I would say obviously get on before that, just to make sure. But at that point that will be the cut-off point, and people who have been online will be part of the ambassador program, and you'll get 20 games free from the Virtual Console games. There will be virtual NES games and Game Boy Advance games. The NES games will be released. I think it's about October time they're talking, and the Game Boy Advance games will be released sometime after that. But basically, being an ambassador and saying you've paid the full price for the console, even if you haven't, just by taking it online before that cut-off point, means you'll get 20 games, 10 NES, 10 Game Boy Advance. You won't be able to choose what games you get. There won't be a selectable list. It will just be a pack of 10. Also interesting that they've announced that the NES games will also be coming out as purchasable games at a later date, but when they release them as a purchasable game, anything that's a multiplayer game, multiplayer will be enabled within the game, so you can actually play the game against other people. So that will work, but that will obviously be once the game has been released to public sale, not when it's made available to people to download as part of the ambassador program. Also, the Game Boy Advance games, when they come out, none of them will be available to purchase on the Virtual Console to other people later on. It's only to the ambassadors who get those 10 games. The list of games that we're seeing, they've only mentioned a couple, but there's things like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Yoshi's Island, Metroid Fusion. So there's definitely a list of Nintendo games on the Virtual Console for the NES and the Game Boy Advance. It's a bit of a shame you can't choose the games, but if there's no list to choose from, there's not a collection of games out to choose from, then you can't really argue with it. They're actually going to say here's 10 games, take them. But I kind of get the feeling that they will be games that I have at least one copy of already. I don't know if I really want to be getting games again and again and again. Even if they are free, I would prefer to be able to choose what games I get, because then I could pick ones that I don't have. But unfortunately, it's not going to be. Nintendo are taking this moment to apologise to people that they've gone out and paid more for the console than what it is 3 months down the line. So it's a gesture of goodwill. It's nice of them to be saying that, and I suppose anything's better than nothing, because obviously they could have just told everyone to thanks for paying for the console, but here's a price cut. So at least they're kind of taking us into account. For people who've early adopted the systems. So as I say, if you've got a 3DS, take it online. If you don't have wireless at home, take it to a coffee shop or somewhere. Just get it connected to Wi-Fi. Go get the firmware update down. Get on the eShop just once, and that will have you access to the ambassador program as long as you do it before the cut-off point, which, as I say, at the moment is midnight on the 12th of August. But obviously do it before then. But just if you've got a 3DS, take it online and get those games. So you can have those games, 23 games, it's better than the kicking teeth. One last, well, two last bits of technology that I've recently picked up. Obviously, got my new slate. I'm loving that. My phone contract was up for renewal, so I went out and picked up a new phone. I picked up this. This is the HTC Sensation. It's a dual-core Android phone, 8 megapixel camera, does 1080p video. I'm new to Android. I've not really used the Android stuff before. My last handsets were Windows Phone 6.5. Wasn't sold on Windows Phone 7 because I can't do all the things I want to do with it. So I decided to go for Android because it's a much more customizable platform. And I actually really like it. I've got used to it. It's warmed to me over a couple of weeks. Couple of little quirks it has. One of the things I do is I sync my phone with Outlook, so I have my calendar, my contacts, and all that sort of stuff on my phone to match them up. Couldn't do that originally. To start with, did find a very good program to do it. A VC organizer. It does really well. It has its own. It also does tasks and memos, which is stuff that's not really natively available on Android. Anything I can put a link up to, stuff that I brought in the UK where I've ordered them from Shop2, I'll put a link up to those in the descriptions. Links to VC Organizer, I'll put a link to that on the description as well. Just so you guys know where to go to pick these up. But as I say, for syncing Outlook, contact, memos, calendar and tasks to your phone from Outlook, VC Organizer works very well. Does it over Wi-Fi as well, so you can just trigger it off, do a quick sync, and it's done. And there's been a couple of bugs that I've found, which I've contacted the developers, and they very quickly told me they're looking into them, or they've told me that it's not really a bug, and it's just something wrong because of this uses HTC's contacts rather than Android contacts. The other thing I got is I brought a new camera, which is what I'm filming on now, so you won't see it. I'll probably do a little video later showing you the camera. It's another JVC camera. My last one suffered from the problem which that model of Vario has, where it has a slide switch for the power, and what happens is over time the slide switch breaks, so it won't let you either turn the device off or turn it to playback mode so you can download the video from the hard drive. This one is on the newer model, so it has a switch actually in the screen. When you flip the screen out, that turns the camera on, and obviously that can then be plugged into USB. It also shoots in HD, which is something else I've been wanting to get onto, because obviously my last camera was not HD, and my interim camera, the one that I've kind of used every now and again, which is the Vada, it's 720p. This one is full 1080, so you can see my face in lovely HD. As there you go. That must disturb you all. Anyway, I've blathered on more than enough than I should have done. I will do a video at some point later, or maybe a blog post on roger.cheeky.net talking about Japan and Hyper Japan and other things I've done recently. So all I'm saying now is see you all later.